Welcome to Grand Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are live. It's a Monday. We are doing yet another episode in our One and Done series. Tonight's victim is Benjamin Orr from the Cars, the 1986 album, The Lace. So the panel's here. Let's get started. Let's do it.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grand Rock Warehouse.
You got that right. I'm trying to change the world one track at a time. Look at this panel. Look at this. We have Davey Cretin here tonight. We have Johnny Metal. Of course, now he's going with John Clauser, My Music Corner. He's got multiple personalities, but anyway, make sure you subscribe to his channel if you haven't. Anyway, and we've got DC Tune Time. Tonight's victim, we are looking at the one and only album from Benjamin Orr, 1986's The Lace. So this was one of those records. Well, the Cars, after they put out that Greatest Hits album, they kind of separated. I don't know if they really broke up. They took a break. Elliot Easton put out an album. Rick Ocasek put out an album. And then they reconvened for Door to Door in 1987. But this, the one only album that Benjamin Orr has ever done. So anyway, we've got the panel here. We're going to treat this very much like a Contrarians Dark Horse episode. So everybody's going to go around. They know what the assignment is. We want to hear what you think of this record. The whole idea is to turn you on to stuff. Is this an album that you would recommend? Anybody in the chat, if you know this record, when it's time, I will want your rating out of 10. So hold tight. Don't give me any ratings right now. We will come back to you. So tonight's order, we're going to go with Davey. We're going to go with John, DC, and myself. And let's just keep it interactive. We're here all about talking music. So welcome to Monday. Here we go. Let's see who's here already. Christian's here. Nice to see. Oh, no.
I think we know what Marlon's rating is.
Golly, Marlon, for God's sakes. We had such a good night last night, and you're going to bring us down. Okay, Marlon, don't hold back.
Boston.
BM Bolt, the single on this house scared me off, not my cup of tea, obviously, because you did not rally and you did not come on.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, BM, but you've been banned from the channel.
Me and BM Bolt are on polar opposites in our taste in music. Oh, that's
Kyle's
clear.
here. Kyle's saying hi to Marlon. I don't know why they say hi to Marlon.
Marlon has his devotees out there.
Steven's
Numerous.
here, part of the Davey fan club.
And Davey's got his fans too.
Hi, Steven.
Jason, thanks for coming by. Pillar, I love this. I love that record. I wish we're going to talk about it. I wish because I could listen to Benjamin Orr sing all day. D-Rocker's here somewhere.
Right on.
I started at the front, so I have to look. Who's all here? Logan, D-Rocker, Kyle. Man, this is great. I appreciate everybody showing up. Let's get started. Davey Cretin is here, and we're just going to start it off. Now, like I said, Davey, give me your thoughts on the record. If you want to go into each track, that's up to you. But start us off, and then I want your rating out of 10. So okay. Go ahead, Davey. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Grant. Nice to see everyone out there. This record was recorded in 1986, like Grant said, during the Cars, when the band took a break. It was recorded in England and Massachusetts, 45 minutes long, released on Elektra Records, the Cars record label. Benjamin Orr and there's the cover. That nice blue cover reminds me a little bit of the Police's Regatta de Blanc. It's a nice striking cover. It's a bit mysterious and moody. And my girlfriend Tia said that the album cover appeals to young girls, or it was meant to.
Oh, Annie T, look at that. He was so delicious.
See, Annie T's all worked up. I hope she doesn't leave a mark.
Oh, boy.
Simmer down.
Please don't leave a mark.
She's going to want to stay the night.
Oh, where's my snare?
You should have your equipment ready, DC.
I need my grandson's drum kit in
My
there.
God, I don't know what you're up to. Anyway, sorry, Davey. You know these live shows.
Okay.
It can go
It's a
in.
live show.
It can just go to hell in a second. Carry on with your presentation. Sorry.
All the songs here were written by Benjamin Orr and his girlfriend, who was a former model at the time, Diane Gray Page. And she even sings some background vocals on the record, but it's very hard to hear her because the typical 80s production tropes are here. And it's Ben Orr singing with Ben Orr, which is one of the complaints that I have. On a Cars record, you get the blend of all 4 or 5 voices, and here you do not. It's just basically Ben Orr singing with himself.
Yep.
Produced by Mike Shipley, who people might know from working with Def Leppard, City Boy, one of your bands, Grant, Berlin, The Cars, and Devo, and tons of other bands. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. Also, the keyboard player on the album, who does too many keyboards and not as good as Greg Hawkes. Larry Klein co-produced it with Benjamin Orr also. It's a 10-track album. The first track is Too Hot to Stop. Little over 4 minutes. This was released as the second single, and unlike the first single, this never charted. Now, they did make a video for it, and it's really cheesy. And I saw it today for the first time. I searched it out, and Benjamin Orr is just dancing with his microphone in his hand. And oddly enough, although they're not on the record, Greg Hawkes plays keyboards in the video, and David Robinson from the Cars is on drums. And then there's a bass player and guitar player I don't recognize. And it's just weird seeing Ben Orr front a band, even though they're miming to it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I like this song. It starts off the album well. It's like a jaunty little pop rock tune, but the production dates it. You could tell it's the mid-'80s. Too many keyboards. And the bad thing about this album, drum programming, no real drums on here. And that is a big problem for me.
Yeah.
They sort of replaced David Robinson on Heartbeat City with a lot of Lynn drums, Sin drums, electronic drums, and this whole album, fake drums. So that's a big negative for me here, the drum programming. But you get Ben Orr's voice on 10 tracks, which you never got on a Cars record. So I like the opening track, Too Hot to Stop. It's a good song. It would have benefited from more guitar. Elliot Easton does play guitar on this record, but it doesn't say what tracks. I searched it out, couldn't find exactly what tracks he plays on. Sounds like he's on here, but he's very muted. He's low in the mix. All the guitars on the record are low in the mix. The keyboards are much higher than the guitars. It's got that 80s production, sadly. Track number 2, 4.5 minutes, In Circles. It's another catchy pop rocker. All these tunes are very hook-laden. They've got earworms, catchy parts to them with the keyboards, the little bit of guitar, the vocal hooks. And I like the chorus here. The keyboards sound a little like Greg Hawkes, but there is only one Greg Hawkes. So I think it's good in the pole position of number 2. The track In Circles is a good song. Basically, I like the first side better than the second side. Now we get the big song, Stay the Night. 4.5 minutes long. This was the single from the album, and it's the first and only charting single from the record. Came out a week or two before the album in September '86. The B-side is track number 9, That's the Way. This reached number 66 in Australia, where our friends Bicycle Legs and Peter Kerr are. In America, number 24 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, number 2 on the Adult Contempo chart, and number 6 on the US Billboard Album Rock chart. And this is a haunting ballad, and his velvety vocals are in full force here. And this is the song that grabbed me when I first heard it, made me buy the Picture Sleeve 45 and the album on vinyl back in 1986. So I've had this record for 38 years, so I've lived with it for a rather long time. It's not as good as really any Cars album, except maybe the last one, but this is the song to hear, Stay the Night. There's a video for it. It's a very moody video to match the haunting song. And it's just Ben Orr. And oddly enough, he's playing a Gibson, I think it's a blacktop Les Paul. But John, you could probably tell me. Have you seen the video, John?
It's been a while, and I didn't watch it today, so no.
I saw it a bazillion years ago, and I think it's a Les Paul Custom that he's playing.
Okay. It's a good-looking guitar, but he's strumming it and singing. He's walking around the house. He looks very forlorn.
Much like what I do.
But this is the song from the album to definitely hear.
Marlon wants to know if you're reading a script, Davey.
I have notes, but I'm not reading it. All
right, Marlon,
freestyling.
Marlon, do not give any of my guests shit other than DC.
Yeah. I'm used
Moving
to it.
on to track 4, Skyline. It's a hooky pop rocker with a catchy chorus, and it spotlights Ben's voice. That's what you come to this record for. Like with Blue Oyster Cult, I go to them to hear Buck's guitar playing. Here, I'm listening to Ben Orr's voice. I just wish the album rocked more and that it had more guitars and a real rhythm section. He's not even credited with bass on the record. Certain songs sound like real bass. Certain songs, it might be synth bass. I'm not even sure.
Oh, no. It doesn't list it. I bet it's alt synthesizer. I bet you.
On Stay the Night, it sounds like a real bass line. And I know Ben programmed all the drums on it. But I still like this record. This is a good song, except Skyline could use more guitars and more of Rick Ocasek's lyrics. That's the thing. Ben is a decent songwriter, but he's no Rick Ocasek. Rick has that certain flair, that style. He's very quirky. And this is just more of a pop rock album for the time from the mid-'80s. I like the nice chiming keyboards here. They're catchy. The last song on side 1, When You're Gone, is almost 5 minutes long, and it's a little too long. It's a ballad. It's not as good as Stay the Night, and it's the weakest track on side 1. But you do get that voice again, like the Peter Gabriel song. You hear Ben, and I just love his voice. He could sing the phone book. He's one of those guys. He could sing anything, and I'd love it. Side 2 of the record starts off with Spinning, 4.5 minutes long. It's peppy and upbeat, so it raises the stakes from the last song that's a little too mellow. There's a brief guitar solo here, which ups the ante a little, but again, it's too low in the mix. It's not long enough. I don't know. It's good, but it's not great. The next song, track 7, is Hold On, 4.5 minutes. Another song called Hold On. It's the 80s. You had Triumph with the song Hold On in the 70s, Kansas in the early 80s with Hold On, Yes in the early 80s with Hold On. So it's a musical cliche. It's trite. It's Hold On.
Don't forget about Wilson Phillips.
Wilson Phillips. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Johnny Metal pulled that out. Wilson Phillips. Okay. Well, Marlon, how is Johnny's metal card looking now? We can only imagine what Marlon will say.
So to me, Hold On is a little bit of filler here on the album. Track 8 is the title track, The Lace. It starts off with a cool guitar riff, but then the keyboards overwhelm it. The 80s production tropes again. Curse you 80s production tropes.
Well, you know what? I don't Logan, are you still here? Okay, we've talked about stuff like this before. A lot of the younger people can listen to that 80s production and go, I'm fine with that. I don't hear anything weird. But me, who grew up in that era, even though when I grew up in that era, it didn't bother me. But later, as things progressed, I listened to it and I go back, I'm going, God darn, that doesn't work. But like young Logan, I've talked to young Logan about it. He can listen to a lot of this 80s stuff and just go, sounds great to me. I love the 80s production. I think it all depends upon when you grew up, when you come into stuff. I don't know.
Or even going further than that, if you're old like me and your kid years and your teenage years were 60s, 70s, you really notice all the artificial aspects of 80s production. And it was just like sandpaper grinding away at your eardrums for me.
Yeah. See, there are certain things in the 80s that really work out well. And there's certain things that do not work out at all.
And it's the keyboard sounds. It's a lot of the keyboard sounds. They're analog, they're digital. They're not analog, they're digital.
Digital.
And I like the 70s sounds better.
Marlon, we're only 14 minutes into it.
Marlon is tapping out, folks.
My goodness.
All right, Jeff.
Yes, thank goodness.
Probably time for his pills.
Yeah.
My
Anyway.
medication. I need my meds.
But I don't think it's so much the keyboards for me, Davey. I think it's more of the drum sounds that kill me.
The drum programming, that's the other thing. The drum
Or the
programming and
gated
the
drums. All right. Okay, Zappa says, I love the 80s production, but this album is saturated in it. I agree it is saturated in it, but there are way worse, I don't want to say victims, or there are way worse records than this. This is just kind of, I put this right in that medium kind of level. You know, it's not too extreme, but it's not, you know.
Frank Zappa has risen from the dead?
What's Rich say? 80s production dates everything immediately. Try Jungle by Dwight. I like that album, though, by Dwight Twilley. Great songs, but Swarth, I can't see, and synths and big process guitars. Well, okay. Oh, the video kept freezing. Okay. There you go, Zappa. Look at this. I'm on a show and someone actually agrees with me. Oh, darn. What the hell's happening? Anyway, Davey, continue. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I'm almost done. Track number 9 is the B-side of the single Stay the Night, a hair over 4 minutes. It's called That's the Way, but it's not nearly as good as the Led Zeppelin song with the same title. This song reminds me a little bit of Think It Over by the Cars from the Shake It Up album, but that's a much better song because Rick wrote it. And some of the keyboard sounds here to me are trying to emulate Greg Hawkes, but there is only one Mr. Greg Hawkes, whether he's on a Rick solo record or a Cars record, even with the new Cars. Greg Hawkes adds something to every song, just like Elliot Easton, and that's what's missing on the album here, both of those guys. The last track is the longest song, 5 minutes, 10 seconds, called This Time Around. It's a ballad, and to me it ends the album on a sour note. I would have flipped the order and put this track at number 9, and That's the Way, which is more upbeat and peppy, at number 10, and ended the record that way. So I like the album. I don't love it. I probably liked it more back in the day, 38 years ago, when I was a wee lad and I bought this playing the vinyl.
Is it 38 years? Oh
1986, 38 years.
I'm 1,000 years old, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're the same age, Grant.
When you say it that way, Davey.
I have T-shirts that's older than that.
Rich is right. I think Elliot Easton should be on everyone's album. Elliot Easton's one of my all-time favorite guitar players. Yeah, I think he's brilliant.
He really thinks out his leads, and they're so attuned to whatever the song needs.
So melodic, you could hum them or sing to them. Just great. Whistle to them if you're a good whistler, which most people are not. Trust me, working in the record stores, when people come in and whistle along to the Beatles.
There's your nightmare scenario right there.
Annie T's here bringing that female element to the chat. I'm curious how this album can be discussed for an album. Well, it's an album.
I think she meant she's curious how we chose this one to be discussed.
Oh, well, it was Davey, I think. I don't know.
We up a while ago.
Yeah. All right, Marlon keeps bringing this up. There's no bass on the album. David, do you hear any bass on here?
Synth bass. Mm-hmm. It's the keyboards overwhelm everything. It's the production choice.
It's where Metallica got its idea to cut the bass out for Injustice for All.
They listened to the...
Here's a fun fact for you, folks.
That's a fun fact. I had no idea.
Lars so here loves we go. The lace.
I'll
give my score later on.
Please.
Michael dated a poster of Sheena Easton in the summer of '86.
What you do on your own time, Michael? That's your own, man.
That's your own personal business.
Yes. Please, baby, continue.
James Boyce said, "Boy, this show's all going to hell, but it's so much fun." I haven't listened to the Lace in years. I haven't listened to Rick's solo album in a while, too. Those Rick Ocasek solo albums are really good. I'll give it that. And I like Elliot Easton's solo album. I like it. Elliot Easton's great. Here comes I'm sure Doc's got something smart to say. Yeah. Another case where the sum of the parts are better than the parts alone. All right. Well, let's get back to Davey. Davey, you know this is going to be a loose discussion since we are live and you know how it goes. Davey, what would you rate this out of 10? And then we'll send it over to Johnny Metal.
Because of Ben's voice, his velvety smooth voice that I just happen to love, and the single Stay the Night, I'm actually going to rate this a 7.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I mean, a lot of these records, when you're going back into the 80s, you have to put it in proper context.
Yes.
Think about this record when it came out. No one was going, oh my God, that sounds like today. You know, just saying. All right. Solid 7. That's good. That's not good. That's not bad. That's better than average. All right. Let's throw over Johnny Metal. And now realize this, John, when Marlon listens to your spiel, he's going to look at you in a different light.
Right. So let me just give my Cars background to give you guys an idea. I can't say I was with the Cars like when the first album came out, what, 78, right?
Yes.
I think I was aware of the Cars probably when Shake It Up came out. So that's probably where my awareness really pops in.
Okay.
So I wasn't listening to the radio as a young kid at that point. I would have been 12, 13 years old. So the radio was kind of taking its time getting it to me. So by the time Shake It Up came out, it was okay. I liked it. I thought it was quirky, whatever. Heartbeat City was probably the album that I listened to the most by them. Of course, think about it. I mean, MTV brought us those videos. They brought us, You Might Think, Magic, and of course Drive, and then of course Live Aid blows Drive up to a totally different direction. Yeah. So but it's it's still a pretty solid album. So I wasn't aware of this solo album that much back then, although I did remember hearing Stay the Night. After I heard it again and I started listening through this, I remember that song.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it being a pretty good song. But I think for me, as I listened to this album, I mean, Davey pretty much summed it up. You have basically, I think they programmed all of David Robinson's best drum parts, and they threw it on this album because everything just sounded like David Robinson's style. There's really not a whole lot of difference there. A lot of the songs, to me, I think somebody already said it. It sounded like Cars throwaway songs. Mm-hmm. I could kind of agree with that. There's a lot of songs that I think if Rick was singing this, I think. Okay, I'll answer Doc's question.
Okay.
I was probably 8 or 9 years old, so that's probably how I was not aware of it at the time. So again, like I said, I was too busy listening to Kiss when I was 8 or 9 years old when the first Cars album came out. So I was not aware of it just then.
There you go.
It just took me a little while. I wasn't a radio kid at 8 or 9 years old. So, but
I hope this gives Doc some closure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So mid 80s. Yes. You have these albums that just everything sounds like they also could have been in all kinds of different 80s movies. Whether it's Pretty in Pink or any of those John Hughes movies or some bad horror movie or something. It just seems like they all could have fit in there somewhere, shape or form. I could have used a little bit more Elliot Easton on this album as well. Yeah. Just a little too much keyboards, a little too much electronic drum programming. Again, to me, all just sound like they just ripped off David Robinson. Pretty much is my feeling. I don't really know if I have anything I can really add to any of the tracks, to be really honest with you. I mean, I like Stay the Night. I think another song, another artist that this reminded me of, I think John Waite could have sang some of this stuff and performed some of the stuff. And I think he would have done just as equally a good a job.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it reminded me of. I felt like I was at some point they were going to go into Missing You or something like that. I don't know why. And lyrically, there's no Shakespearean things. There's nothing overly quirky about anything here. Mm-hmm. So honestly,
I need your honest.
That's really all I'm going to really throw out there. It's just, it's not a bad pop rock album.
It's just a pop album.
That's all it is. Pop album. I mean, let's just put it out there. It's just a decent pop album. Now, would I rank this a 10? Maybe not so much. I probably would go with about a 6 on this.
Okay.
That would probably be what I would go for. I think the only thing that's holding me back for it was I wish it was just a little bit more original sounding. It just, like I said, with Ben just made it sound too much like either his greatest hits from his time in the Cars or throwaway Cars songs. And I wish they could have done something different with that 80s production. But other than that, it's not it's not bad for what it is. That's all.
If you kind of look at it with all the other crap that was in the 80s, you know, this is just right in the middle. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not a perfect record. It's not a wonderful record, but there are way worse records in the 80s that just sound absolutely hideous, and this isn't one of them.
And those albums sometimes got more notice and more blown up.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, D-Rocker, I got your 8.5. I mean, if anybody wants to throw out their rating out of 10, but Marlon, I really need a real rating from you, not just you're going to go, well, that's a 0. Come on. I'm just saying. Anyway, thank you, Johnny Metal.
Rob.
Excellent. So we've got a 7, we've got a 6, we got an 8.5. I can't rate, haven't heard it. That's all right. You know, Jeff, we're talking about it. If this just makes you go out and listen to it, that's good for me. I am good with that.
Jeff, we appreciate the folks that haven't heard the album that don't rate it, because we don't need that. We've had some folks, I never listened to it, but I give it a 7. That don't help anybody. So,
well, hey, I'm already seeing an 8.6, an 8, and a 6.5 in the chat here. So
okay, that's good.
So there you go.
I mean, when we do these shows, I don't know what people are going to rate it, but we're just talking music. All right, Ben Orr had an unfinished album called River of Fire. Some of the unreleased songs are on YouTube. The title track is worth checking out. I had no idea. So, was this part of the Elektra? Maybe you can elaborate. Was this part of his Elektra contract and he had, I don't know, a 2-album deal and they decided that this didn't sell enough and I don't know. If you know what's up with this record, please put it in the chat.
That's news. I didn't know anything about that.
I had no idea. Uh-oh. What happened there? Was that
the old switcheroony?
Davey, was that the apocalypse? Should I go look out the window? Okay, I think we're okay. All right,
I'm getting lightheaded.
Speaking of the possum, shirts will be available soon.
I am a star of video and podcasting.
Michael says my next band is 1980s production. All right. Oh, there you go. Do you see what's the 80s possum think of this record? There you go.
Give me the Cars every time.
All right, so Hilligard says 8.6 out of 10.
Wow, we're getting some high ratings for this.
Well, hey.
And Jason's giving it 5 out of 10, so... Well,
Ernesto! Hello,
8.0.
8.0.
Hello, Ernesto.
We've got Christian's giving us 6.5. Okay. Wow, you guys are all over it. Eric, if I recall, this is somewhere between the great Patti Smythe album from '87 and the
I love that record.
horrendous Miles Goodwin LP from '88. That's a whole other show, but I think you might have it summed up. I don't know. All I know is Stay the Night. Never seen this. Well, you got to look. You got to look, Doc. First of all, Doc, you have to leave the house in order to see it.
Well, he does buy cereal, but I don't even know if he finds himself in too many record stores.
Kyle says he's in the same boat as Jeff. All right. DC in the deep thought and concentration about this review. Oh, my God. Well, I'll keep going through the chat and I'll put it up there. DC, do you want to give us your thoughts on the record while I'm flashing up?
Yeah, comments? I will. And brief sports note, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but John Clauser is currently 3rd on the Steelers depth chart at quarterback. So, little fun fact for you on the sports related. Mm-hmm. I had this vinyl album back in the day, but over the years in my couple of great music purges, I no longer have this vinyl, and I haven't listened to this album in decades. So when I did call it up on YouTube and listen to it, it falls right in with my thinking of why I got rid of certain albums. And this is not to say that there's nothing worthwhile on this album. There are 10 tracks. Three of them are really, really good. And if I had that album today, I would digitize them and put them on my master external drive of my favorite music. But what it is just very competent pop music of its time. Really no great shakes, aside from the three top tier albums that I really like. And then there's one that I think is very good. As I played through, the first two songs are serviceable. They're fine. I heard Stay the Night and then a light bulb moment. Oh, I remember that. That was the single from this.
Okay.
I also like Skyline, which is a song that follows this. And this time around, which is the last track on here and kind of a ballady pop tune. Ben Orr brought more of a soulful vocal treatment than what Rick Ocasek did. And I do wish he would have sung more Cars tunes in their catalog of releases. But it's a nice juxtaposition from what the vocal treatment was on the, why am I drawing a blank? I just said his name. Ocasek tunes.
Okay, yeah.
Davey pretty much covered a lot of this as far as what needs to be said or whatever about these tunes. Like I said, if I was going to rate this, I would give it a 7.
Okay.
Of the 10 tunes, 4 of them are higher tier, but the rest of it is very much middle of the road. Competently played and sung, but just not something that I'm going to rate any higher than that. And if an album or CD does not rate higher than an 8 for me, just on a personal side note, I get rid of it. I digitize the songs on those albums I like and then get rid of the CD. Unless it's one of my all-time favorite artists, like if a McCartney released something that was a 5 or so, I'd still keep it because it's McCartney, but everybody else, I get my $2 or $3 from and move on.
Okay.
Well, Eric has a good point. He said, you're right, MTV did more positive than good. Well, yeah, I agree. The fact is, when MTV hit, if you were ugly as a mud fence, you're not going to get on MTV. That's when everything changed and everybody had to be a pretty. Everybody had to be
pretty boy.
And I think it's still stuck. So, Doc, big 3 vocalists, Benjamin Orr, Leon Redbone, and Hurricane. You mean Hurricane Smith? Seriously?
Interesting.
Oh, okay. First time that's ever been mentioned in the Warehouse.
It's
How does this compare to Flint?
It's a lower than Flint.
Flint's higher.
Flint's higher.
Okay. Wait a minute. Jesus, Ernesto, calm down with your drinking.
What the?
Look, it's Walt. I don't care what you guys say. The greatest band ever in history of human civilization was Survivor. That's right. Really, Walt? That's right. Beatles, Rolling Stones, Zeppelin. Those guys blow ass. I've tried to reach out to them, but they never return my calls. But I get it. They're Survivor and I'm not. Well, there you go. A big Survivor fan in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Survivor has very solid catalog. I mean, the Jimmy Jameson material is especially good. There are real gems on every one of those albums. And those all rate over an 8 for me.
Did we bring up?
No one
Survivor?
brought up the Survivor, but apparently Walter felt like...
Are you drinking too? I'm just going to throw that out.
Another thing, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Todd Booth. I like this album. When I hear it, it makes me wish he was still around. 7 out of 10. All right, I'll take your 7. Thank you. And thanks for coming. I don't think, Todd, are you new here? Because I don't see you have a wrench.
Todd's new.
Todd, welcome to the channel. I could give you a wrench, but I don't have the video up, but I can't give you a wrench. Please come back, because we do shows over here all the time, and I will give you a wrench. Please subscribe. Please like. All right. Here, I gave the spiel. Annie T, who has a short attention span, is going back to the Steelers.
Sports. We're back to sports, folks.
Okay, here we go. Eric Rock. To me, Orr sounds like a blend of David Gilmour, Elvis, and McCartney. Nice that those were kind of familiar and successful. Okay, that's nice. That's a nice.
Interesting thought.
I still heard a lot of John Waite though.
Well, John Waite could sing this, but John Waite would never have digital drums. He would have a real drummer. I agree, DC, about Jimmy Jameson. See, now we're on a whole Survivor thing.
Thank you, Stephen.
Music fan from Ohio.
Oh,
I know we're really tight because we're from Ohio.
That's right.
Never heard this record. Is it better than the '84 record? What '84 record?
Must be Heartbeat City.
Is it?
Oh, he's probably talking about a Cars.
Yeah,
it is not
City.
better than Heartbeat City. No.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm happy. All right, so
I think they found their
John's
quarterback.
Happy.
So John won't be rushed out there into seeing it if he can bring them
there's
glory.
still more. Oh, the '84 Cars record. So I think Heartbeat City was '83, wasn't it?
No, '84.
I'll be damned. Well,
right.
you know. All right.
Ken White brush with greatness.
Oh, so Walt's just okay. Just trolling a little. I'm an Allman Brothers fan. Seen them 4 times. Warren Hayes is awesome. All right. You also are. Your attention span is very short. Okay. Okay, 8 for the cover alone. Oh God.
Oh, Annie T.
All right, Annie T.
I'll take it.
I could see it. I could see it as a straight
Wow.
dude.
Look at this one.
G-Tech, the lace is one of.
Wow.
Is that a 9 out of?
Yes, it
Wow.
is.
See, this record's faring better than I thought. I thought people would butcher it, but I'm pretty surprised. Heartbeat C is one of those 1984s I consider perfect. I agree, Christian. The first 2 Cars albums are the best. And Marlon says that G-Tech is out of his mind.
Marlon, just don't feel free to let loose.
Marlon likes to judge. That record is kind of okay until I started hearing Drive on the radio. Well,
Oh, I love that
I
song.
think Drive's a beautiful song. I really like Benjamin Orr, though. All right, let me give you my spiel. We're at 37 minutes. We can wrap this dog up. I think this record's faring very well. I'm probably going to rate it lower than other people. Maybe. But, this record was not a success. It got to 86 on the charts. Stay the Night did reach 24, like Davey said. I think Stay the Night is a wonderful song. I can listen to that over and over. It's perfect. Mrs. Hates Drive.
What?
Oh God.
Wow, that's a shocker to me.
So the album, the most Cars-like thing on this record for me is Too Hot to Stop when it opens up, because I think it's very Heartbeat City. So if you like Heartbeat City, you'll like that opening song. In Circles, pure pop. The rest of it really is pure pop. In Circles got a little bit of those new wave keys on there. I kind of like it. All right. Stay the Night though is pop perfection. This is not the Cars. If you're looking for the Cars, this is not your record. But Ben's voice is absolutely, it's just like smooth as silk. I could listen to Ben Orr.
Like butter.
Like butter. With that, whatever he's singing, I'm good. So Ben really makes, his vocals really make this record. Skyline, that track sounds like something that could have been on a mid-'80s soundtrack. It's fine, but if you're looking for the Cars, stick with the opening track. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a pop album. When You're Gone, this is Benjamin Orr looking for a hit. I think, considering the Cars, he got out of the Cars, he's probably looking to sow his oats, so to speak, get himself out there, get a hit. Stand apart from the Cars. I'm assuming the way it sounds, it just sounds like he's trying to go for that pop market, which is fine. It's fine. Spinning. This is a good track to start off side 2. It's pure pop. It's fine. But really, some of this stuff isn't that far off from like Flock of Seagulls or anything. I mean, if you're being honest, it's like Flock of Seagulls light. Hold On reminds me of Survivor. I wrote that in my notes. So whoever else is really in here for Survivor, you might like that song.
Yeah.
The Lace, another ballad, but it's perfect for Ben's voice. Overall, how would I rate this record? Well, you've got to think about the rest of the Cars catalog. Is this as good as anything else in the Cars catalog? Is this as good as anything in the Rick Ocasek catalog? Is this as good as the Elliot Easton solo album? I think this is probably on par with the Elliot Easton solo album. Rick Ocasek stuff's probably, I would rate this higher. It's not anywhere near the Cars, but if you look at it within that whole 1980s pop, if we're going to put this in a chart, that 1980s pop veneer, this is right in the middle. It's not something that I listen to and I want to vomit in the corner. Well, no, there's some stuff that I hear I just want to go over and vomit.
I gotcha.
This is not one of those records because it's not real extreme. Now, if you're looking for something in the early 80s that really hardly has any of that 80s production, this is not the record for you. This is just kind of in the middle. It's not offensive. I think it's just a decent record. But what would I rate it? I'm really basing this off one song because all the other songs, are they that memorable? The playing's fine. The production's fine. Like I said, it doesn't make me want to throw up. But if I'm really going to honestly rate it, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I
thought you were going to say 5.
No, I'd give it a 6 because I could listen to this record over and over and it wouldn't offend. But it's not a piece of, it's nothing brilliant. You know, it's nothing that'll change the world overnight. It never did. This never set the world on fire, but I think it's a decent record. I give it a 6 out of 10. So let's do that. Let's see where we're at. All right. Marlon, no, and no. Vomit in the Corner, great album title. That was one of my bands after Tall Water was Vomit in the Corner.
He went the punk route. It was a very edgy album.
It doesn't make me want to throw up. I'll give it a 9.7.
You're pulling our leg.
You're pulling our leg. Somehow I never owned Shake It Up Door to Door. They aren't available. You don't see that stuff very often anymore. Door to Door, we did a show on Door to Door. Was that on the Contrarians? Yeah, I was on the Contrarians, and that album fared very well. I have no issue with Door to Door. I actually like it.
If you hang around long enough, a lot of the boomers are starting to pitch over. You might find these albums for resale.
Oh, man. Yes, Ken, you're right.
Bringing a dark mood to tonight's show.
Ken,
You love Halloween.
Ken, you are right. Elliot does play on this, but can you pick him out?
He's too low in the mix.
It's either him or Michael Landau.
But you can't tell.
No.
That traditional Elliot Easton stamp is not on this record. It's just very, I don't want to say bland, but it's kind of faceless. If you didn't have Benjamin Orr singing the vocals, you could have slapped anybody on here.
That's a good point.
You could put anybody on the vocals. There's nothing on here that says, oh my God, look, there's Elliot Easton playing guitar. You can't tell. So there you go. Marlon, go ahead and rate it.
Let's hear it, Marlon. Drum roll, please. I need to bring the kid in.
Well, I don't think so, Ken. I don't think so. Look how well Heartbeat City did. Shake It Up was a decent record. Door to Door was a little bit, I don't think that was an issue with them going into the 80s. I think the Cars had taken that break and they put out more of a harder hitting album. And I don't think the public really, attached to it. Plus, a lot of these bands only have a certain lifespan. And I think the Cars had already hit it. Heartbeat City was the peak. And then everything after that, that's the way I look at it. So, Marlon, where's your rating? I'm assuming he heard it.
We're waiting.
All your albums you hate, give them away, handouts for Halloween.
Yeah, what's the kid going to think when he gets home and he's got the CD Vomit in the Corner? His
All right,
parents aren't
Jay,
going to be pleased.
Jay is C+. Would that be a 5? Would that be a 6?
That'd be a 6, I would say.
All right, I'll give it a 6. I don't want to say C+, seems kind of low, but whatever, I'm going to go with that.
If you don't give us numbers, we just have to guess, folks.
Zappa said the Cars fared well into the 80s, but the public had moved on. Yes, taste change. That doesn't take anything away from the Cars catalog. But people, taste change, and I just don't think Door to Door was what people were wanting. Oh, Marlon, 3.95. So a 4.
With
All
the
right.
9.5.
Jeez. Ken says, Grant, maybe so, but you're right. Most bands only have about a 5 to 10 year period of true creativity. Well, I
That's
don't know
what
if
I
it's
said.
true. I don't know about true creativity, but I think
Top of
it's
their
the
game.
public, the way the public looks at the band.
Yeah.
The band could be putting out great stuff, but people will look at it and go, Well, look at a lot of these legacy bands. The last Scorpions album is absolutely wonderful, but people didn't really pay attention. They had their moment, you know.
People of a certain age will buy music. And now I'm not sure if any young people buy music, but let's take it back to the early 80s. Certain age group will buy albums. You get married, you start to have kids, you got a mortgage. That's backburnered. And that's what kills a lot of these bands that were at the top. You know, their fan base is onto other things and don't have that disposable income for their new album. So that changes too.
Yeah. Doc says people wanted Tiffany, not the Cars. I don't know about that.
I like Tiffany.
Tiffany had a very brief career.
I still say what Live Aid did to Drive. I think that's what killed the Cars personally, because they took a song that's had nothing to do with the African famine, but they somehow twisted it in there to make it work for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's how the public saw the Cars from there out. And the Cars had nothing really to do with with what Live Aid did to that. So that's where I think.
Interesting point. Yeah.
So Byron, the trophy wife saw Tiffany and you still married her.
She likes Peppy.
Which mall did she see her at?
Which mall was it?
The missus likes Peppy.
But the public, well, of course they do. But just because the public doesn't latch onto it doesn't means something's bad. It means the public is very finicky and a lot of times they have no taste.
Very fickle, yes.
Yeah.
Fickle.
So Kasich and Orr had a few band before what?
Yeah, I think
Captain
they were doing some stuff before the Cars. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had Milkwood was a band they were in.
And Vomit in the Corner.
Swing.
And Captain Swing and Vomit in the Corner was their last album. Oh my God, that's a great idea. I'm giving my King Crimson Beat away for you, Jeff. You're out of your.
You're going to have a very disappointed
GD
5-year-old.
mind giving away King Crimson Beat. I've been moving that crud of an album. Oh my God, Jeff. Does he have a wrench? Not for long.
Wow. Well, at least Logan didn't make a Virgin Killer comment about that. Oof.
I know. Or another tall water comment. Jesus. Music program, pop lyrics, or sophomoric. No bass, production is lame. All right, fine. Drive. Everybody Hurts.
Is there Everybody Hurts?
Yeah, kind of.
I love that song, Drive. Call
right,
me
here
an
we
old
go.
softy.
It is a
Okay.
good song. It just, like I said, Live Aid killed it.
Yeah.
Overplayed too.
Mark likes it. He gives it an 8 out of 10. All right, Mark, we got it. Thank you.
Hey, Grant. D. Rocker, who was the originator of naming our beloved possum Sardini. We have to find a way to get him a free T-shirt for coming up with the name. And if he could somehow get the address to me and a size, I'll get one out to him.
Well, it would. Okay. I can do that.
I will do that.
Or you'll do that.
I'll do that.
All right, D Rocker, contact BM Bolt. I mean, D Rock, whoever you are. Jesus, I can't keep track of this.
You
All
know
right,
my actual name. Get a hold of me.
DC. Yeah.
And I will make sure you get a T-shirt.
Music fan from Ohio. I think Beat might be my favorite King Crimson. It's my favorite King Crimson album of all time. Well, I would too. I'd like to see what he think of that.
Or Schnee.
She probably likes this record.
Kyle's got a good idea. Yeah, for the Easter season, Sardini will become Father Guido Sardini.
Damn it, Webb. We just started the show. We're 50 minutes into it. We haven't started it, and we've been waiting for you. Okay, all right, gentlemen, we can start now. Webb's here.
1986, Benjamin Orr.
All right. Oh, Jeff, come on.
Oh, my.
Tony Levin, Bill Bruford.
Discipline rules.
Discipline
is my
rules. I
favorite.
love it. Come on.
Things are going to get tenuous here. Simmer down.
Good show, fellas. Good night. Well, hold on, Marlon. I'm wrapping it up.
Just hang on
Jesus.
for a minute, Marlon.
So we've got all. I've got all the scores. All right, we're gonna have a war here. Jeff, wrong. From Jason. Jace, of course. Okay, let's see what we've got. Or we've already been through. Let's see what we come up with. All right, here we go. Okay, we come up with a 6.97. So if we round it up,
7.
I'd say we come up with a 7. That's way better than I thought it would perform.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit too generous with my ratings. I'm going to be more hardcore from now on.
And if it's a 7 out of 10, I think I could recommend it. So go and check it out if you haven't heard it. This is what we're here for, is try to turn you on to stuff. So there you go. 7 out of 10 for the only one and done from Benjamin Orr. So there you go.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, you guys like cold toilet seats.
What?
I don't. Every time I sit on a cold toilet seat, I go, woo!
And that is not a pleasurable sound. That is not a sound of pleasure.
To me, the Cars had 3 great albums, 3 good albums, and the solo stuff isn't anything near those, and that's fine. I can't argue with that.
Normally that is the case. There are exceptions.
What's wrong? Oh, yeah. John likes it. Sardini T-shirt comes a set of a sardine. Oh, for
I
you.
can make it. For you, I'll
for
make
you,
sure
D-Rocker.
it is.
I like chicken and wings. All right.
And when you see it, you'll think it should smell like sardines when you see the image.
All right. We can wrap this dog up. I want to thank the panel. Johnny Metal, DC, Davey Cretan. We gave this record, well, actually everybody that contributed, we tallied everything and we come up with a 7.0. So go check it out. I like these kind of episodes because we can all do this together. Anyway, anybody have anything to promote? Oh, I'm just going to go in order real quick. Johnny Metal, what is coming up on your channel?
All right. This Wednesday, we're eating the heat with Accept Up to the Limit, episode number 8. So there you go. Definitely not going to be any Chobani yogurt on that one. That's for sure. Anywho, looking forward then to recording this one over the weekend. So keep following up with the Accept series, and who knows, there might be some odds and ends of little things coming up throughout the course of the week. And so there you go.
All right, DC, might as well talk about what we've got coming up here. I like it when you talk about what we've got coming up, so I don't have to.
All right, folks, if you've got nothing penciled in for tomorrow night, Grant and I will be wrapping up our Grand Funk Railroad series, where we take a look at the last 2 released live albums, which was the 71 set and the Bosnia, the charity event that Grand Funk did in the late 90s. And piggybacking on that, we will be interviewing the one, the only, Mr. Mark Farner, to be broadcast sometime that first week in November. My mind is ready to explode with this information. Let's see what else. We were talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
We were talking about new T-shirts, new merch coming into the warehouse. Sardini will have his own T-shirt coming to the store very shortly. I think you people are going to like it. It encompasses what he's all about.
Right. Get yourself a damn shirt, people.
And we'll also be working on Puking in the Corner Grants Rock Warehouse T-shirts.
Byron does have a good point. Byron will be. We will be live on Wednesday for Frank Zappa. We'll be looking at One Size Fits All. Also on Wednesday, Contrarians live chat. We will be live at 7 p.m. We have yet another Johnny Metal. Do you remember what we're talking about?
Brown album. What can Brown do for you?
We're going to talk about album covers that have everything to do with Brown. Band could be named Brown. Could be a Brown on the cover. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. So, any thoughts on the next band after Grand Funk Railroad?
We're kicking around a lot of stuff, folks.
We'll see.
In the queue, and we don't know when it'll come up, we are going to take a look at Artful Dodger. And a lot of you people have been clamoring for that. We will get to Artful Dodger very shortly.
Yeah, Schnee will be on that one. We'll be looking at the Artful Dodger catalog. Brownsville Station. We could probably do that. Rumor has it DC does love Possum. Weird, but he does. We need more album cover shows. Well, I can't. We're doing that for now. DC, now you're talking.
Ken
Love
was
Opera
one
Dodger.
of the ones that was kind of clamoring for that group to be covered. So,
all right.
We're going to get to it, Ken.
All right. Before we wrap it up, Davey, what's coming up on the channel?
On
your
Cretan
channel.
Classics, on Cretan Classics, I just did an album ranking of The Police with my girlfriend. And with another friend of mine, we did favorite Dream Theater songs that just aired. And last, I just want to plug my show on Tom Curlis's channel, Curlis Mania. We are doing a series on the Cars. And we've done the debut album, and we just did Candy O. So check that out on Curlis Mania.
Look at that.
That was serendipitous, wasn't that?
All right.
And just for the record,
drive you home tonight.
And just for the record, Tia rocks. Just saying.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think we're about time to do the Klaus Nomi album ranking. So
Oh, goodness.
we might do that. Artful Dodger was actually from Virginia, but broke out big here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. Ken, can you explain that?
Explain it real quick, Ken, before we wrap it up.
Well, I grew up in Northeast Ohio, and for whatever reason, that area of the country just latched on the Artful Dodger big time. They weren't local boys, but for whatever reason, that area loved that group. Like they gravitated towards Todd Rundgren. There are just certain artists or groups. Northeast Ohio just was ravenous for them. And Artful Dodger was one of them.
You know what would be a good band to do? I don't know if we've talked about it. It's About Time, Klaus. I love, all right, I do love Klaus. I love those records he did. I love Klaus. But maybe Michael Stanley Band might be a band, because who's talking Michael Stanley Band?
Nobody. We'll have everybody in Northeast Ohio tuned in if we get the word out.
Maybe we'll do that next.
Oh, I'd love it.
You're so popular, yeah. All right, well, let's wrap it up. We've almost went an hour. I want to thank the panel, Johnny Metal, DC, Davey Cretan, and myself. I'm not a panel. I'm just running the damn show. As you know, a lot more coming up. So everybody have a good week. It's Monday. See you tomorrow. We'll be back. More content on the way. Gentlemen, have a good... Oh, that's it. There you go, DC. We'll see everybody. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.